everyone. This is a quick benchmark test for Haven 4.0. This is going to be run on extreme tessellation, 8 times anti-aliasing, ultra graphic settings, and I have VSync turned off because everybody else runs theirs with VSync turned off, so just to get an ultra comparison to what everyone else is doing or what I'm doing. I'm also going to record this so I can get the also spot on comparison with everybody else, since they're recording and putting it up. So let's run it. Or let's not. Can I not push the button? Oh, I already did it and it's going. Haha! I didn't even realize that I was already running it. It's kind of a fun program to run. Definitely get a lot of information from it if you sit down and watch it as it happens. So you're getting all the information, and I be getting upper right is my graphics card. Well, actually, it only shows one. It's just a series. It's an AMD XFX 7850. It is crossfire, so there's 2 of them in there. They are both running on a PCI 3.0 x 16 slot setup. Fastest you can run at this current given time. Before, say, a year from now, they'll be moving into PCI 4.0 slots, but not that big of a deal, seeing as how I had my old motherboard set up with this exact same 2 graphics cards, and they were running in ×8 ×8, and I just moved them to ×16 ×16 for, well, the cream of the crop bandwidth that you could possibly get. But ultimately, it's setting me up for future 3-way SLI and 4-way SLI. If I move over to an NVIDIA card, step away from my AMD card. Although, there is in the next year or so, I believe, AMD is going to be working on their future 3-way and 4-way crossfire setups, which is not even possible right now because the graphics card itself only has one crossfire cable plug-in, which means you can only link 2 of them together. All the NVIDIA cards come with 2 plug-in slots, which allow for a 3-way and 4-way bridge. It's not a ribbon anymore, it's an actual plastic bridge, which has all the connectors hooked up into them, and yeah, just snaps them all together. This is so that they don't try and compete with each other as individual brains and then don't actually ultimately function at all. This makes them so they attempt to be one cohesive brain, sharing each other's resources, capabilities, and presenting you with the most efficient and optimal graphics experience. This is really kind of funny to watch this. I kind of feel like I have... Oh no, it's not. Fraps gets cut at my VSync of 60 Hz refresh rate for my monitor. Nothing you can do about that. You can spend a bajillion dollars on 120 megahertz, which is even a rare thing. I even looked for them. It's not exactly like they make these as they make the 60 hertz, which is interesting since TVs are moving into 240 and 320 hertz refresh rates. I'm not sure why there's such a separation with the monitor and TV, but whatever. This is more than enough at 60 hertz refresh rate. What you're seeing is fluid movie movement. There's no stopping, no lost frames, no crapping out anywhere. So here you go. You can see that is the run right there. It's an average of 37.4 FPS with a score of 942. I just did the same test without recording, and the difference is an average of 39.6 FPS and a score of 998 with a high of 14, or sorry, with a minimum of 14, and that's a minimum of 14.4, and a high of, I believe it was 88.1 This seems to, has less of a high but the same min, which is interesting, regardless of framing, and only 2 frames to be lost on the average, which is pretty solid. You can see that I'm running a 2 times setup right here. 2 graphics cards, 7800 series. It's a 3.3, actual 3. It's overclocked right now to 4.3 gigahertz quad core processor. And there you have my Unigine Heaven Benchmark 4.0 for crossfire 7850s. That's what this is stock. Also, should have said it's not overclocked in any way. They are completely defaulted. Everything's defaulted except for the CPU right now, and this is just to see what it does. Potentially will overclock these cards and maybe even overclock the CPU a bit more as summer goes away and we step into winter. But thank you all for enjoying this little Haven Benchmark 4.0. Hope this helps you out with seeing that you got your equipment set up correctly, because I know mine is 100% G. Correct. It's all, everything's tip top. And as you can see, the temperature settings right here, well within the safety margin and even below your yellow margin. You never want to see your graphics card push 90 degrees. Regardless of what anyone says about any of them, except for the brand new graphics cards, any of this year's or last year's models, you don't want to see them go over 90 degrees unless for some reason you live in the damn Sahara Desert and it's 120 degrees and you can't do shit about keeping it below temp. But you want to do everything you possibly can to keep it below. The faster it's going to work. The crisper, the colder the air is, the faster your electrical connections will actually be sent inside your computer. So cheers everyone, enjoy, and adios.